The connection is excellent already, but is the stream actually going? I never know. Okay, so I have the chat here, as always. It's always on top, so no matter where I go, even a full screen window, well, not really, a big window, a window that takes up my whole screen, the chat will still be seen. But you know what annoys me? What grinds my gears? The fact that every time that I pop out chat, I have to remake it into this kind of window. So true. So, what I want to do today is make presets for my window manager. Window manager is like big to say. Like, it's not really a window manager in the same that it would be on Linux. It's just a thing that can move and resize windows, which to me sounds the easiest to just call a window manager. So currently, how it works, I am pressing Windows right now. So Windows A, Q, W, E, and then S, G, D, and F. All nice and cool, right? But first of all, fuck, now I have to see, right, here's the issue. Now I actually need to redo it. Oh, that's nice. Fuck yeah. So notifications work, that's great. So now I want to remake my VS Code window to the correct one again. And I'm like, fuck, what do? I press 1 to move it. Oh, I was in chat. Fuck. Basically, see how, like, annoying all of this is? And then I make it not as wide. And then I move it. And I can't be precise. Okay, great. Let's activate VS Code now. And do the same thing. And you see how basically long it takes to do all of these steps? And every time that I stream, or for that like matter, every time I need to have a window like this, like it takes a long time basically to do that. So what I want to do today is make presets for my window manager. I already have a few, the one that I just showed off, but a few other ones are missing, like this, for example. And the small window, I guess, to the right also. Yeah, that's my idea. And right now, my window manager lies in my Vim mode, and also Windows plus AQWE SDFG, which is like a lot of keys. So I'm gonna change it to a key cording I guess thing, where I press a single hotkey and then another key that is its own profile, I guess, preset. So that's my idea. I already started doing it, and I'm immediately like met with forgetting something. So presets is a class that is a child class of window manager. Okay, well, do I need to call the new method explicitly, or is that done for me? That I don't remember. So in case someone that knows whether you do or don't, please tell me. Just kind of forgot. I've been using C# a lot more recently, so I'm slowly like forgetting HK. Okay, so, oh, right, another issue. So when I press 1 in my window manager thing, it moves the window basically like to the complete left, but you can still see that there is a gap here. Even though I moved it to coordinates 0, it's not actually there. So just relying on that doesn't really work, which is bad. So I want to fix that as well. And also, what I can do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Realistically, I really don't need to have that much, I guess, freedom, which is really funny to say, but it's true. Basically, that's like way too much. That should be better. Yeah. There are only a couple of positions that I will ever use, and having to be like specific in those motions is just not that good. So let's start. First of all, we have these 4 fields. That is essentially real blank. Yes, freedom. Fuck freedom. I'm a Windows user. Rah! Right now, real 0, x, and y are 0, so the same that it is like here. And then I'll basically pick around and see what I'm actually looking for. So, first of all, I am happy with where the window starts. I am not happy with where it ends because there's still, I guess, more place to go by. So what I'm gonna do first is just basically try them out until I find what is true for me. So when move x and y, and I'm gonna include, where was I? Window manager, which is in abstractions. Window manager, and I'm going to use so x is window manager presets, and since they're static, is just real full x, or rather real 0x. And I do a very similar thing for the other ones. So this is going to be y, or actually start x, start y, end x, and end y. We align them. Okay. Now we change real, no, not real. We change 0. First of all, we change this to this. And then 0 we change to full, I think. Doesn't tell me, but yeah, it's true. Okay, so we have all the coordinates that I need. Let's try them out. What do I need? So x, that is where it starts pretty much. Start x, start y. Width and height is pretty much end x and end y. So, and actually I'm not going to change the width. And if I remember correctly, when move, if you don't specify them, the size will not be changed. Okay, so if you don't specify them, nothing happens. So I'm not going to be changing the width so far because there's chat here. But the height I do want to change, and it's going to be end y to the win title of current. Okay. Why is my browser not activating? That's annoying. Why is nothing working again? I just rebooted Windows because something was acting up, and now it's acting up again. Okay, so let's try. Interesting. So end y, right, I didn't change this. Good to know, good to know. Let's try again. So I can immediately see that yes, the 0 is not enough, and also the end y is also not enough. That is good to know. Let's go to presets and change 0x to, say, -2. And real full y will add 2 there as well. So I'm going to start with 2 and see if I need more or less. We just make them even bigger. So say -3, I think, rather 4. I wonder, why is everything like so slow? I don't quite get it. I don't think I've changed any settings for streaming. Strange, very strange. But maybe I just haven't streamed in so long that I forgot that that's how it goes. Maybe that's the case. Okay, this is looking better, but still not quite. What if -5? And here, I should actually toggle screencast mode so you can see what I'm doing. What about this? Even better. But goddamn. You know what would probably make sense to do? Basically, while I am streaming, disable smooth cursor. Because smooth cursor really suffers if you, like, basically if VS Code is lagging, smooth cursor is not going to be good. But if it's not lagging, then it's better visually. So I'm going to get this choppy movement, which is not going to lag as much while I'm streaming. Then maybe later I'm gonna like make a whole function called stream setup, which will move the chat here, and every other window will be shaped like this, and then it will also, I don't know, start streaming for me, which is scary actually to know. Disable smooth cursor and so on. Maybe. Especially if I like stream to the point of wanting that. So I think this is pretty much, like I wonder, do I want this yellow like border? I guess I do, because I'm still going to get this border on this side, and if the, oh, well, let's try it. So -6 has been very good to us. Let's change to -8 and see what happens. It's a bit better. Ooh, so in terms of this, let's go to -7, but in terms of the starting position, we can go lower. Let's change back to -6. What are you doing? What are you loading? Oh, thank you, I guess, but not the time. Sometimes I just accidentally press a hotkey and don't even understand that I did. Okay, so 7 and -9. Now that hides the borders, and I actually like it a lot. Because it's so like minuscule, I will never miss something that's going to be here. And yet, I don't get this annoying border. So I love that. I love that a lot. Great. And in theory, this is going to work for any window at all. Right? Right? It probably will. So this is the actual 0. I don't need to change the 0 of y. Unless, I guess, I want to remove a bit of the top. Which, like, maybe, but yeah, like, it's humongous, to be fair. I could. But first of all, let's look at other windows. So in this window, for example, it's actually way smaller. And the thing that I would cut out from here, so this distance, would unnecessarily cut out this distance as well. So I don't think I'm going to be doing that. Just kind of unnecessary, I think. Even if at first it feels kind of cool. And once again, for some reason, why is everything breaking? I don't get it. Like my hotkeys just stop working for some reason. Okay. So real full X, I guess we'll have to figure out if that's even the case. Yeah, that's going to be the case. But later. Okay. So now I know the coordinates for this. Great. Let's open functional, which has my hotkeys that I'm currently using. So I can use them here. Actually, let's go to this place and color it as HK. So it's not an actual thing. Now, usually, I would put this like on the left and then window manager on the right, but you can see how awfully small the space gets. Maybe if I do it like this, that kinda works. Yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah, that's good enough, I think. I'm actually like kind of digging the not smooth cursor. It's so like fast. Maybe eventually I'll go back to it, I don't know. Because it's like, wow. Okay. So I guess just start redoing everything, pretty much. Yeah. So we have Windows S, which sets half width, but full height. So this is the thing that I'm not gonna do because I don't have a window I could do that with. I guess I could do it with this. Basically makes it half a screen. Ooh, that's actually a good point. This border, which is pretty much exclusive to the terminal, is still seen here. That's good to know, actually. Okay, what if we... where was I? Okay, so real 0y, let's actually make it a bit smaller as well. That's good catch. Very good catch. Oh, that's already enough. But now this needs to be increased by 1 as well. And now it's like hiding pretty much, which is so cool. That's amazing. Now, this is probably not going to be accurate at all. Oh god, why do you have to do that? Now I don't know where my actual Ladna. Basically, this does it to the middle of the screen. And then there will also be a thing starting from this point. The thing is, I'm not sure how precise it's going to be, and in me remembering that, it's not very precise at all. But I guess we'll get to it once we do. Okay, Jesus, that's slow. Okay, so we're gonna call this left side. Yeah, I forgot. No, not here. Change side arguments when title that you don't necessarily need to specify. And that will do all the setup that we need, which is this. So we get the win title, we restore the current window down so we can actually like move it around and stuff. And we get its current position, which we might actually delete in the future, because I'm no longer changing relative to its default position. I'm just changing the position overall. Okay, so left side will be when move, and we, I guess, just start. The X is going to be, do I have to specify the whole thing every time? I find that kind of annoying, you know? I can't really use this. I'll have to do window manager dot presets dot and then that every time. So my immediate thought goes, oh, I should like specify them into like instance variables in the new method. But in that case, why are they static? So you know what I'm gonna do? Since it doesn't necessarily matter in terms of speed or anything, I'll just make them instance variables. Usually, it's just better to not, because right now, what you're going to be doing is reinstantiating every single one of those variables every time, which is like, I don't know. And maybe later it will become an issue, but I doubt it. I highly doubt it. So now we can use this. This is the x, so real 0x. The y is real 0y. Oh, this real 0y. So it starts out at both of those positions. But we do change its width. Okay. So that's an important part. Half width. Half width when starting at that position. And half width when starting at this position may actually be different, which is interesting. So for now, let's just do half width. And I know that I have a bunch of stuff kind of like these variables in the mouse class, but it's for a very different purpose, and trying to use both that and not that at the same time is just kind of annoying to manage, so I'm not going to. Half width. For now it's just going to be a screen width divided by 2, which you're gonna see is pretty limited, or rather it doesn't work as you would expect, but we'll come to that issue once we do. Height, and height is full, so we just specify. Ooh, actually that's a good point. Instead of using screen width, we should use this real full x. Yes. This will actually be more precise. Interesting. And I guess we can... God, it's so slow. When I'm streaming, I guess everything slows up, but I don't remember it doing so to this extent. That's so weird. Half height is this. Real full y divided by 2. Cool. So we said the width and the height is just this real full y. And we do that to this when title. So I guess we do a similar thing for every single thing. Sure. Well said. Well said. I do indeed specify the when title every time. I might... Oh, actually, no. I don't think I'm ever going to need to implement exclude title, exclude text, and when text, and so on, because in reality, almost always I'll just be doing these actions on the current window, and that is always understood. Okay, so left side supposedly works already. And the whole idea of presets is that you don't have to chain them because there is just one preset that does exactly what you want, rather than combining stuff until you get the thing that you want. So returning this is actually not useful here. So I'm going to turn every single one of those into an arrow function. And then maybe we'll have some cool formatting for the when move call. Okay, and after that we have right side, which is going to be very similar. But instead of starting at real 0x, it starts at this half width. So in the case that it actually works how I think it does, that's going to be brilliant. And it should, I think. If not, we'll just tinker with it, I guess. The y position is also real 0x, 0y. This, so this is the width. It's also half width. This real. You know what I'll do? Since I'm like fucking around with the windows so much and need to test them, I'll open the chat on my phone instead of it being here. So you can both notice chat immediately and actually have like better control, I guess. It's a trade-off still, I realize that. Because seeing the chat while watching a stream has always felt really nice to me. So, okay. This is the height, real, full, y, right? Yeah. I'll actually do it like this. How about that? And then this when title, which is going to be repeating in every single thing. Okay, fair enough. And now to make top side and bottom side, I can just copy that. So left, right, up, bottom, top, top, bottom, not up, bottom. And change inside this thing, bottom, and then we go boop, boop. Cool. Cool, 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 cool. The hotkeys that I made for like editor groups, like the this and the this, I love them so much, where I'm actually like starting to actually use groups. And in my terminal, I already actively do that. So in the course, we have four panes, imagine. So this usually is, I go to CSproj and then to the solution, so Welde, for example, and this will be CSproj once again, but then Welde, the main project in the solution of Welde. This will be a similar thing, where I do CSproj and then where. This will be the thing that .NET runs the current project, in case it needs to be, like, in case you run it and don't just get the output immediately, but it just like runs indefinitely. And this is the timer, usually timer 20 minutes and then timer 5 minutes. So I actually like use multiple panes right now, which is why I decided to make my window manager better to begin with, because I actually use them, which I like a lot. Okay, so top side and bottom side are not made yet technically. Top side, so x should start at real 0x, and it starts at real 0y as well. Half width, no, width is full. Since we're never specifying the end of the right side or the end of the bottom side, and we always specify the width and height, naming these real full x and real full y makes close to no sense, you know? And you can't rename it because the extension doesn't work for some reason. Cool. That's great. That's amazing. That's so incredible. Okay, so real width. Or is it better to just remove all the real from this? Maybe actually, yeah. Okay, real width. Really? I don't use it anymore? Huh. I guess I will. I said it like it was a pun, but I'm not even sure if it was. Real height. And here, and here, and here, and here. Cool. Half width. So instead of real, it should be full. Zero x, or rather 0x. Okay, yeah, that seems good. 0x and another 0x. Similarly, 0y. Yeah, that's a bit of a better naming, I think. And real width is just unnecessary. Let's call it width. Yeah, width. Because you kind of assume that it's full width. No, not really, that's less readable. So let's actually change it to full width to make it as obvious as possible. And the same thing for this, full height. And then we have half height and half width as well. Yeah, that probably makes the most sense. That's great. Okay. That's better, I think. So, top side starts at 0x and 0y, has half width, which shouldn't be the case. It should have full width. Yes. So, full width, but not full height. It should have half height. So, QFU, half height, and yes, win title. And bottom side is not half width, but also starts at 0x. And what's up with those -1 and -9 and the +8? Okay, so let me show that off. Let's go to HK test, and instead of all these, this will be 0 for x, this will also be 0 for y, and let's not change anything like width and height. So this will just move the window to the 0, 0 position, in theory, right? So we run it. Let's continue. Sure. Forget about it, please forget about it. And you can see that what actually happens is there is a space. Even though I specified literally 0, it should start as soon as possible. It doesn't. Yeah. And since I didn't change the height and so on, basically, if you set the full height, it also has this... Fuck! Can you shut off? Ah! Like, so hard to show off this place without the taskbar being annoying. So yeah, basically there is a space there as well. So you need to set not the full height, but more than the full height. So that is also annoying. And in the terminal, if we remove these and run the same code, oh. Well, basically the idea is that it also has this border. Yeah. But that could be different per system and per window, and it probably is. Basically, I don't necessarily expect it to work like it does on other systems, because something like -9 and +8 is so hyper-specific that it's bound to only work for me, and I'm not about to figure out a way to make it work for everyone. This is more like a me thing. I think it could be calculated by doing window size negative client size, but that might be wrong. Yeah. That's the thing, like, it may be wrong, and I've heard that sometimes windows don't actually give their real width and height. So I would rather just make it strict and absolute, because it's simply easier to figure out and easier to make it do exactly what I want, rather than spending, honestly, a lot of time trying to figure out how to make it automatic. That's not really my approach. But then, if people want to use this for themselves, they can just, like, change these values themselves until they're correct. Oh, and by the way, I don't have the chat right here because this entire stream pretty much will be for moving windows around, and having the chat always on top just doesn't help that. I still can read the chat on my phone though, so don't worry. Okay. So top side we did. Bottom side is 0x, 0, but not 0y actually. Instead of 0y, it's half height. Yes. And then full width. Full width, yes. This full height, and not full height, it's also going to be half. So these already work, I'm pretty sure. They should. Cool. Now, what was it? Oh, because I was calling them here, lol. Okay. Let's go here and to lib, and let's tree to see what I have in SCR. So SCR is my folder for all the hotkeys, pretty much. So we have like mouse, keys. So I'll add another file in keys called something like window manager. Hello, what's this about? I am making my window manager better. So currently, well, it probably already doesn't work, but basically I have a few hotkeys, as you can see here, that move my windows into specified positions. However, those positions are not perfect because they leave spaces in between. Message retracted? Wait, what? How does that work? That's the first time I heard that. But yeah, basically, I want to make it better. And instead of how it works now, where I turn on window manager mode and then do stuff, instead of doing that, I'll just only have presets that do what I want. Instead of being like very like bit by bit about it. Right, so in keys, so new, and I don't know if this works yet. We'll see, I guess. Keys, window, no, like, it wasn't me, I swear, for like retracting the message. Sure, but I'm so like, I didn't know you could do that. And I guess retracted means that the person themselves deleted the message. I just kind of expected it to say deleted, but no, it says retracted. That's interesting. What was I on? Right, so I want to call it window manager again, but I do this way too often where I call the class name and the hotkeys name the same thing. But I guess that's not that bad now, is it? Fair enough. Window manager.hk. I don't know, Misha, if you support this. So I guess we'll see. Oh, wow. You do. That's so cool. Wow. That's great. Cool. So now we have window manager. I don't think I need these anymore. So let's join those groups. And aside from window manager, we open another window manager to the right. No, to the bottom. It should work, and it did. Yeah. Okay. Actually, let's join them again. Yeah, I'm also like really glad that it does. It's very cool. Okay. So I do this trick in a few places. For example, general key quarter, where I do this entire thing. Oh wow, I put in so many different keys. So I do this thing, and then I get the key, and depending on that key, I do different things. So I'm basically going to do the same exact thing. So we first include registers, and registers in abstraction. Guessed it. Get input is a util. Util, no. Immediately forgot. Get input. Only thing you have to be careful with when you do new ABC is A is already a file that exists. Wait, I probably am misreading this. With when you do new ABC and A is already a file that exists. Oh, if it's a directory, it'll work, but not when it's a file. Interesting. So you basically can't name a folder in the same way as another file is named. But I guess that only goes for files that don't have extensions somehow, and often they will. So it's probably not as big of a deal as I initially think, right? God damn. Nah, we're just brain broken. We do this shit all the time, and Yeah, that's what we do, pretty much. I don't think I need to include anything else here. We'll see, I guess. SC1A, I remember this because I looked it up today. No. What? Bro. What? Are you seeing this shit? I want you to... I am, like, beyond impressed, even, at how bad it's working for me. Well, yeah, but files without extensions are super common on Linux. Yeah, true. So, I guess I'll keep that in mind. Yeah, good to know. So, here we have our hotkey now. What else do we have? So, static actions. This is going to be the map that contains all of the presets. So I press Windows left square bracket and then another key, and depending on that key, different thing happens. So yeah, pretty simple, pretty simple. I do this all the time. I fucking love maps in HK, they're so useful. I remember the first time where I figured out that I could do that, I was like, holy shit. So I changed from a switch statement to a map, and it got like significantly better, like faster. Like I could notice it. There aren't that many situations where you make something faster and you can actually notice it. Usually you don't. So actions, no, let's call it presets. Explains what I'm doing here a bit more. I mean, to be fair, at this point what I should really be doing is making this into a function, but I don't want to. Sounds like a good enough reason to me. Okay, so yeah, I guess let's start. I can't really use bind here because it's more annoying, so let's continue on with just using arrow functions. Window right, we also include window manager, which is, I don't need you anymore, or you. Oh, right. Fuck, I thought God damn it. I thought it activated the alternate file that is not opened currently. So I installed an extension recently, which is called go to previous buffer. That is pretty much open the alternative file. So you open file 1 and then file 2. You can use that command to go between them, and I set a hotkey to it, but unsurprisingly it's pretty limited because it's not built in to VS Code somehow. Like, sure, you can have a window that appears here, and then there was a problem with the server. Cool. Chat broke on my phone for some reason. Ah, yes, streaming on YouTube, love it. So yeah, you can have this window open, and then it basically waits for you to basically unpress. It waits for you to release Alt, and only then does it switch the file, rather than switching on pressing the hotkey. So yeah, I live in these like hyper small things. So where is it? So it's in abstractions. Mouse, why is it there? We don't need functional because I did remove those, which is good. No. Window manager, yes. Move it here. So in abstractions, which means that we include abstractions. Oh, and I guess window manager. I find it annoying that it doesn't immediately recognize that I'm trying to, like, autocomplete a file. Like, what? Isn't it obvious? Window manager, presets. So H is going to be left side, obviously. I just think that it's funny to say obviously for unobvious reasons. If you're not a Vim user, using H for left isn't really obvious at all. Presets, right side. So in my mind, I try this out and it just works immediately. But we'll see what's gonna be the actual situation. Like, I'll doubt that it just works. Top side first, okay, then K. Window, well, in that case, let's do it like this. Oh, and change them around. So, yeah, bottom. Why am I even, like, worrying about this? It's so unimportant which order they go in. Yeah, left, right, bottom. No, it makes more sense. It doesn't matter, basically. What are you, like... Elisa, come on. Bottom. I both like and dislike how fast my cursor moves without, like, the smooth cursor that I'm so used to using. And top side. And now, I already forgot. Where were we? In general key order. I guess we just copy this and paste it. If key, like if we got a key, then try, but instead of actions, presets, key call. And that should be very simple. Okay. Now let's go to SCR, the loader, to add that stuff in. Include SCR keys, window manager. So now, in theory, once again in theory, I get no errors at the very least. Okay, let's try this out. So the hotkey left, and nothing happens. That's great. Interesting. I wonder why. The first thing I should think about is this the correct key? SC1A, it is. However, that didn't work. Interesting. My bad, my absolute bad. It's strange that it even let me do that because none of these are static and I called them as if they're static. Okay, my fault. Okay, that's exactly what I want. Interestingly enough, it cuts out a part of the bottom, which, yeah, I wanted, but I might reconsider, is what I'm saying. Oh. Okay, fair enough. I don't really have anything to say about this. Ooh! Full width is not nearly enough. That's interesting. Okay. So... full width. Oh, well, no wonder. Let's add at least 9 and reload the script. Let's try this again. That seems fine. There's no, like, border, so I can't really tell. Mm-hmm. And this seems fine, but it cuts out like a lot. And once again, I realize that I don't necessarily want it to. So I do like how it cuts out the left side and the right side. What? The opposite, I mean. Right. But I don't like that it cuts out the top and bottom. So full height, let's actually change it a bit. It's going to be the easiest to figure out here. And also Windows left square bracket is kind of annoying to press. Okay, so that doesn't cut out anything. I think VS Code is the only one that reports how much it takes up properly, while Windows like browser and the terminal actually take up more than they say, which is where the difference lies. But I don't think I want to make specific presets depending on the window. That's way too fucky. And then when I change a system, or even a screen for that matter, then I'll have to change all of those numbers. Which is what happens when you make absolute anything. And that's why you shouldn't. But okay. First of all, I really hate the Windows left right bracket, Windows left square bracket. So maybe something like Windows B, and then, yeah, I don't hate it. I don't despise it. Or maybe what I could do is same key, but instead left side. And I like that more, like trying out currently. Hello. You know what, like for now, window manager this, let's change it to Windows B and see how I like that. Wait, no, not test. This. Okay, let's go to the browser and try this out. Yeah, that's a bit better. I mean, I can handle the this pretty much. Doesn't appear here, but more importantly, yeah, that's what I thought. That's like the annoying part. So this takes up the entire thing, but does this? It doesn't. That's so funny. The fact that the browser still has a ways to go, but VS Code is actually doing the right thing and taking up as much space as it says it's doing. Let's try this. That's the same case for the terminal. So I guess VS Code, strangely enough, is the weird one here. Huh. The more you know, the more you know. So the height, hold up, I forgot. The height is fine, I think. Yeah, the height is fine. Unless, yeah, there is a, like, how do I call it? Space basically here. Okay. So for width, we do need more. Okay. Let's reload and try again. That's better, but still not quite there. And you know what? Maybe since I'm seeing the border anyway, and if I try to remove borders completely, it starts being weird on VS Code. Not going to be as ridiculous. So for the width, or rather for the 0y, no, not y, 0x, I'll move it back to where I can see the border. Great. And like 2 more, I think, to the width. Oh. Is it like actually there? Let's try another pixel and see how that goes. Yeah, I think that's perfect. That's cool. Okay, so now in theory, the math of splitting the window should also work correctly. And it doesn't at all. What the fuck? What the fuck is it doing? What the hell? Like, why does this end here? And then this starts like a mile away. Huh? That is ridiculous. Okay. So middle X, you know, let's do something stupid and probably inaccurate. 949, and this, so this is bigger than this, so we need to move it to the left. So the half width needs to be smaller or bigger. Bigger. I don't know, let's start out with 4. Okay. It's probably... Oh, yeah. It's probably to do with the fact that the offsets differ from window to window. I mean, yeah. True. But I feel like if I try to go into the direction of, oh, calculating mathematically the difference between the actual and the client, then I'll just come into another issue where the window is lying to me, and it's not necessarily productive, I don't think. So what I'm trying to get here is get a compromise solution that works well enough for everything. Like, I really don't think that going for that is going to treat me any well. Oh. So imagine half width. No, that's exactly the width. It's both the width and the starting position. Which, in a sense, is an issue. Interesting. The width of the window, if it's a half width, and where it starts are actually kind of different. So I should make them different too. Feel free to tell me that that's ridiculous if it is. But I feel like, yeah. So for full width and full height, that's fine, I think. I guess because nothing will ever start at the full Y or full X. Yeah. Is that ridiculous? Is what I'm saying right now ridiculous? So this full width, for X, we also divided by 2, but now we can do some magic with it. And half Y, this full height divided by 2, and we need to change it here. By the way, I still kind of dislike Windows B. Like, I wonder if I can find a better hotkey for this. Windows H is also... I don't necessarily want to move it into Windows something, like Windows plus a key on the left side of my keyboard, because reaching the right Windows key, which usually doesn't exist anyway, only does for me because of some magic that I did, it's not really a great fit, I don't think. Or maybe... Hold up, let's go to Vim mode. So Alt space, what happens if I do this and then reload my script? Haha! I can make right Alt space and then the thing. Right, okay, fuck yeah, okay. So now left Alt space just enables Vim mode, but right Alt space will be the thing that... Oh, I'm not even there. Hold up. The different window manager, yeah. So right Alt space will now be the window switcher, I guess. Okay, let's see if that's like nice feeling or not. Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't think I hate it. Uh-huh. Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, I love it. Fame... Forgot how to speak. I just forgot how to speak. I like it far more than Windows B. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like one of the best solutions I can make. Windows space is already for changing languages. Shift, or rather right shift, escape, left shift, or I meant caps lock, left shift caps lock. I don't think that does shit. Like, I don't think that does anything. Let's check if that's true. rgrab, left shift, and this caps lock key is not actually caps lock, but it's escape. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it doesn't do anything. So it could do something like left shift escape, and then, yeah, a couple of options. But I'm gonna see if I want to continue with right alt space, because for now it seems pretty good. And I'll eventually just get used to it. And I'll just have like a bunch of presets for every single thing. And it's gonna be so cool. Okay. So, first of all, let's actually commit stuff, because I have a lot of changes. So we made a change in Window Manager. Oh, we were here to begin with. So I guess just add presets class. cool. I do things in like a ridiculously big amount of commits. And I have a very, I guess, lame reason for doing that as well, is because if I ever need to revert or check out to a file, it's so easy to separate stuff rather than having one huge commit with everything. Now, technically, what I just committed is kinda like one huge commit, but still, length docs I can just add without really thinking because it doesn't matter. It's one of the things that are like whatever. Loaders SCR, we're gonna do that later. Vim mode. Okay, we can also add Unicode because that also doesn't matter. Yes, this. And window manager. So that is the hotkeys. So the first thing I'm gonna do is commit vim mode saying I have GMM, right? Change vim mode hotkey to specifically left alt space. That should be less than 72 characters. Well, I hope. Let's see again. So the other things is functional. Functional used to have my hotkeys for the window manager, but no longer does. Remove hotkeys for window manager. And the final commit that I'm going to do right now is the other stuff, pretty much. Yeah, so we added hotkeys for the new window manager. Yeah. Add hotkeys, add chord, or chord. Yeah, chord. Hotkeys for new window manager. Cool. Now I should remember to actually do the commits a bit more often. So now we have half x and half y that is separated from half width and half height. So we can make a different width even though I start on the same place as half the screen without them being like intercommitted. And especially with the other presets that I might be doing, is going to be useful, I think. Or not. Or not. Okay, so right side starts there, and similarly bottom side, we need to change those two. Half, in this case, x, and then half y, because, alright, I'm gonna be gone to take a piss. Streamer gone. I am no longer gone. I'm back. Thank you everyone for staying. Actually, that's kind of surprising. That's cool. It smells so nice in my room because there's like a window open, which you might notice or not. Well, I mean, the openness of the window. I doubt that you can somehow know that. So, seeing just by one window is not necessarily useful. Okay, so let's move the right window, or rather, let's try out this and then the browser. Yeah, that applies to like any window. That's good to know. So the first thing they should do is increase the full width. Maybe. Okay, so this and this. 949 and no, just this needs to be moved to the left. That's like the end of it. No like misalignment, no other weird issues. That's actually kind of surprising. So I've been watching Hunter x Hunter recently, or rather rewatching it. Watched a couple of episodes today, and fuck, that's such a great show. It's actually one of my top 1. For top 1, I mean the top of shows that I can decide which one of them is better. So all of them share the first place. So other than that, there I have Death Note, JoJo, naturally. What else? And Hellsing Ultimate. Not sure if Overlord is there or not. I don't quite remember. But yeah, all of those are great shows. I also started rewatching Hellsing Ultimate as well recently. I haven't refinished it yet, but going to soon, I guess. Or not. I drop shows really often. Forgot to reload. There's still, yeah, basically I'll need to move this until I don't see the reds. So yeah, if anyone is looking for an anime to watch, especially if you are a, what's the genre, shonen watcher, you're gonna love it. And if you're not, maybe you'll love it. I don't know. I just love shonen. It's probably my favorite genre, which I know is very basic, but yeah, it's quite great. It can often be very emotional. The show itself, though, eh. Oh, I didn't read the previous message. Been listening to a few JoJo songs. They're very good. Some of them are quite good. Really? The show... Okay, I get it that the first part is kind of slow. With that, I actually even agree. But, like... Come on, basically. So, turns out... Well, first of all, the show itself, I think, is great. And I guess no wonder, I'm a huge JoJo fan. Yeah, right, so the first part is understandably very slow, just kinda but the later parts are very fun and quirky. So, I like it a lot. All the fun misalignments. Okay. The more important question... Oh, I tried watching it from the start of part 1, dropped it. Yeah, that was also the case for me the first time I tried watching it. Then tried again from the start of part 3, dropped it again. But then you're missing like a lot of very important context. With that context, part 3 and everything beyond is more interesting, I guess. I mean, you don't really watch those kinds of shows to begin with, so it's kind of understandable that you wouldn't like it. Like, I love shonen, and JoJo is technically shonen. Well, not just technically, it just is. But I know that you're not quite a fan. I mean, I watched over 700 episodes of One Piece at this point. I'm not going to stop. So that's probably like a very telling. My problem with JoJo is not that it was slow or that I didn't get the story, it's just not my cup of tea. Yeah. It's very, unfortunate when you love some show a lot and then you realize that it's not for someone and you're like, oh really? But like, I think it's so good. Is it not for you? And the person's like, no, it's not for me. And you're like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that the border appeared only if the window is active. That's news. God damn it. Oh, god damn it. Did I close stream accidentally? Now I guess I'll figure it out. No. Still works. Now the big question, did that, like, I guess I can see on my own phone? No, it doesn't seem like it did anything. Huh. So in theory I could even close my browser window and it would still stream, I guess? That's important knowledge, but let me pop out chat just so this doesn't happen. If this window exists, Alt-T opens that instead of Telegram. And by the way, I can still like read the chat on my phone. Oh, here we go again. The width is not enough, or rather the height. I'm very big into getting into a show and then trying to get everyone else into that show as well. Yeah, you don't need the streaming dashboard open for streaming. See, I don't know that. Like, and checking that, the only real way for me to do that is to, well, close it. And if that closes the stream accidentally, well, that's bad. So I just haven't tried. But now I know. I guess right now, why I'm using it is just so I have another window to check things out with. Okay, now it seems like it's incredibly good. But full width, I'll make a bit smaller. Right? No, left. Uh-huh. Nothing changed, I think. Yeah, nothing changed. That's funny. Well, good enough. Pretty much perfect, especially comparing to what it was before. That's quite great. Also, I recently changed the colors of my operators in the shell, and I like this color combination way more than what I used to have it. They used to be orange, and now for orange, let's echo something into dev null. So this is now orange. It used to be purple, so I switched them around. I like that quite a bit more. Oh, by the way, I recently started, or rather, my friend recently started watching One Piece by my recommendation, and it's the first time that has ever happened. And fuck yeah. And the coolest thing about it is she's liking it already. One Piece is, maybe it's not famous for that, but famous for being slow in the beginning, where there's this like huge meme that, oh, you just have to watch the first 250 episodes and then it gets so good, which I know is a ridiculous point. But since she likes it already, that's like such a good, yeah, that's just incredible. Half height should be a bit bigger. Makes me happy when someone, like when I find someone that likes the same things that I do, or starts liking things that I like. Let's move that like 2, I don't know. Not quite, and I can't tell. There is, I can still put another pixel in there. Oh. And now we can't see behind these two windows, but we still don't see that. So in terms of height, yeah, figuring something like this out, you just have to watch the first 262 episodes, then it gets good. Pretty much. Well, now, I think One Piece truly begins at episode 250 something in the Water 7 arc, when they declare the war against the world. That's when the real beauty of One Piece starts to shine, in my opinion. But still, like, oh, just watch the 250 episodes and then it gets incredible. Like, sure, it gets incredible, but you had to watch 250 episodes before that, which maybe aren't that incredible. And I'm gonna be honest, the only reason why I was able to hold out for so long to watch One Piece is because I knew some spoilers that are going to happen in the future. If I didn't know that, I'd probably drop it like very soon. But because I knew how like big and incredible it becomes, if I didn't know that, I just wouldn't hold out, I feel like. Okay, so the presets work as expected now. Yeah. That's great. That's amazing. So, boop, boop. Right alt space is kind of wonky, I now realize. Pretty wonky. Hard to press. So let's change that hotkey to something else. So left shift escape, which on my keyboard is actually caps lock because I made it so. Really. And what I hate is it doesn't explain where the fuck it is. But I guess we'll just find it like this. Now I realize that this should have been escaped. Uh-huh. Right, obviously I use that all the time. Right shift tab is what I use regardless. Right shift is just dangerous, I feel like. Like, what if I do that? Like, what if I press it by mistake? I'm trying to find some hotkey that would work, and that's often the most like difficult part. I don't like Windows B because then if I want to move it like anywhere, I have to move my hand back, and it's not a very nice experience. Something regarding space, I guess, is what I want. Oh wait, Windows Alt Space. Windows Alt Space is so obvious. Why didn't I think of that? Right, Windows Alt Space, and that should not be taken at this point. Oh yeah, that's so much better. Fuck, yeah, why didn't I think of that? Ooh, and you know what? Windows Alt Space and then something like some other key will restore the window or maximize it. Yeah, I love that. I'll implement it later though. Why is it here? Did I move it there accidentally? I guess so. God damn. KD T. Cool. So some key in window manager chord chord maximizes window. So we can commit this. Wait, what's the other change? Oh, in both of them, because yes, indeed. In that case, let's first do the keys window manager. Change window manager chord hotkey to Windows Alt Space. I hope I don't need to escape any of that. No, I don't. That's great. And the other thing, fix coordinates for presets for window manager presets. Okay, so the first four are done. And matter of fact, I have a lot of new keys that I could use, like Windows plus A, Q, W, S, D, F, and G, and also Windows E. But Windows Alt Space and then a key is just so good. Right now, Windows Alt J restores the window, and Windows Alt K maximizes it. I wonder if it's a good idea to move that into the window manager. I guess I'll figure it out once I try it. But I think since we figured out the most important coordinates and what they are for me, and annoyingly enough, for every single, not even user, but screen too, those are going to be different. And as Misha said, what if you calculate them depending on the client thing? Which is very fair, but I've been programming long enough to understand a rabbit hole, or rather to notice a rabbit hole before I'm there, and it's very much a rabbit hole. So the 4 most useful ones I already have. Now let's make the chat one. Is it there? It is there. So basically you put it here at something like this. Very useful. And then the other thing where a window is up to this place. And I'm gonna make variables for everything instead of just specifying the values in the when moves, because I think that's just straight up better in terms of changeability and readability. But I'm gonna create a new section, and a new section is nothing really, is just a new line to kind of signify that this is now a different thing a bit. So for that, we will need, we have absolute 0 y and the height. We now need the width and the starting position. So how am I going to call it? So the idea is pretty much 80 by 20, right? Almost, kinda. Now I could do it with math. I probably should. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 3.5, I guess. So we kinda we separate the entire width by what, 4? By 3.5? I'm just thinking whether it's useful at all to make things relative like this. Since I'm already using specific coordinates to make hyper-specific things, accounting borders and everything, then like sure, being rough to the middle is useful, but at this point, is this useful? Is dividing by 3.5 at all useful? Since my thing is already not going to work on a different screen, probably, accounting for it to work that way I don't think is useful at all. So I'm not going to. Let's call it like 70x, because it's kind of like 70%. If anyone has a better name, please let me know. But basically, the x coordinate for when a window starts at this coordinate, which is kind of like 70. I hope that explains the idea pretty well. There's probably a better name for this though. So 70x will just be an absolute coordinate. Like, yeah, I'm going full stupid here. Because yeah, since it will have some like math after it, it might as well be absolute. So 1920, say this 70x, and that's so far everything that we need, except we also need 70, or rather 30 30 width. 30 being, once again, the percent of this. And that's going to be a screen width. No, not this. This full width negative this 70x. Now this math actually makes sense to have. Okay, let's try this out. I'm just gonna call it chat. No, I'm gonna call it 30. Now let's go win move this 70x but 0 y, because the width, this 30 width, height is full height, and this win title. Let's add it. T for chat makes sense to me, but I'm better off first filling up the things on my right hand side. Okay. So we have HJKL. We will eventually have something like so UI and M left triangle bracket, goddamn, are going to also be taken for the this, and this, but actually aligned properly. So those are going to be taken. But I think O and P make a lot of sense. So let's start with P. Window Manager presets 30. And let's see how that works. It's once again a matter of trying out things until they are correct. Okay. So it starts out way too up there. Let's say this. Interesting that it didn't change the width, or at least not enough. Maybe it can only be so thin. Okay. Yeah, that's better. But it should be a bit, yeah, and not as much. Even, or rather even more. I wonder if this is like even helpful at all. Well, we get the full width. We, I mean, it probably is, right? At the very least, it shows off the idea of what I'm doing to a point. So I'm gonna leave it. Oh, no, not this, not this, not this, not this. Boop, boop. Okay, yeah, that's good. Let's try using this on the Explorer and see whether I like it. I think I do. Yeah, well, I could make it a bit bigger. Yeah, I like this more. For chat too, probably. Okay. Let's 350. And now if I understand how this should work correctly. Yeah, and it still was correct. So this math is actually useful. Nice. Yeah, I like this a lot. Often Explorer windows just appear, and being able to quickly move it here and then like make this well, the correct window, which I'm not going to be able to do yet, is going to be so cool. I'm pretty much making a, what are they called? Basically a cool window manager. By the way, I want to try this out. Like, do I even need that or not? Because maybe I don't. What about a window that needs to be restored? Huh. Yeah, I don't, because that is done automatically. That is so good to know. That's so good to know. So 30 is surprisingly easily done. Wow, honestly. 70 width, because we already noticed that the X and width are going to be different. But they're going to be similar, so let's start out with this. And we have 70. When move this, we start at 0x and 0y. Oh my god, and then, like, eventually, what I could do is make this only this window, and then we have Explorer here. Oh, that's so cool. Oh my god, yeah, I'm probably gonna make this better and better. And then, once I move to a different setup, I'll have to redo it all again! Oh, sorry. Oh my god, so sorry. I guess until I refactor it to be better. Often things are made to be, and then you improve them to make them better, once you realize that you want to do that. Right now, I'm more so making the functionality, then I'll make it better if that's worth it, pretty much. There's a lot of stuff in my projects that's just not worth improving. I know that sounds like very stuck up, because it's not worth improving, but it's just a matter of using your time properly. If something works like you want it to work, and it's not really taking up too much of your time to constantly change, then it can be fine. You don't necessarily have to make everything perfect. Depth, 70 width. And we'll see if it's the correct one. Height is this full height. And then this win title. Okay. I might eventually change this .win title to just capital A. But I probably shouldn't in case I make presets for presets, pretty much. Yeah, things that move different window. Yeah, I was talking about JoJo. Fuck yeah, like, I love it. Such a good show. But it's really unfortunate what Netflix has done to part 6. That's a lesson I'm yet to learn. I'm too much of a perfectionist, and I always want to do everything perfectly the first time around. It's such an important lesson, honestly. Like, it's true that in most things, you're a better programmer than me. There may be like a few spheres in which I'm more knowledgeable, but generally you're a better programmer than me. So also generally, you can more easily think of how to make the project good to begin with. So you have that. But still, no matter how good of a programmer you are, you're not gonna write everything perfectly immediately and without adding extra time into that. There's still like a ceiling, I guess, to this. So learning to, yeah, it's very important for a programmer to learn when to give up. Sounds very counterintuitive, but it actually makes a lot of sense. Knowing when to give up instead of like continuing on to make every single thing perfect. If you try to do that, you either are stuck on one project which you don't care about anymore, or I guess you never finished anything. So it lacks a bit of width, so we'll add that. Ooh, and then I can do something like Windows and plus something something to make a window always on top, because currently what I use is Alt D 3 or 4. I could move it here. Oh my god, that's so cool. I'm immediately wondering about like about issues that I'm going to have much later. Pretty much doing the 30 thing, but it being halfway, so I can have another thing here. But so far I'll just do what I know I want, and then I'll figure out what I also turns out want and implement it once I need to. So going back to JoJo, I read the manga, so I didn't really need to watch the anime to begin with, and it's been so long since I was like a huge anime fan, or rather a huge JoJo fan, more specifically, that I wasn't that excited to begin with. But the way that the anime released was just so disappointing, because it released everything at once, and there's not like no excitement about watching something. When I was watching Chainsaw Man, though, I actually waited for every single episode. Well, most episodes. And it was so fun. Not having that experience for something as like eventful as JoJo is just sad. Okay, it's perfect now. Yeah, so I didn't even finish part 6 in terms of the anime. I read the entire manga and part 7 as well. But I imagined that I would probably finish JoJo because, oh, come on, it's JoJo. It's so good, how could I drop it? But turns out. Really? I disagree. I heavily disagree. Well, depends. Actually depends. Some shows I don't care enough about that I would rather glob all of them. So take, I don't know, Food Wars. Completely fucking don't care about that show. Release it all because I don't care about the hype. I'm just gonna drop it. But if it's something very exciting, like JoJo or Chainsaw Man, or anything that I actually care about, having that experience of waiting for something every single week is incredible. The staggered release of shows is the entire reason I end up not watching them until they are definitely 100% released. See, at least for me, it depends on the show. If I don't care about the show to begin with, yeah, it's pretty likely that I'm gonna drop it or wait for it to be fully released. But if I do care about it, then it's like all so much more exciting. Yeah. So the 30 and 70 implemented now. So say I'm like, But the more exciting it is, the more I want to watch it immediately. That's the thing. That's exactly the thing. You have that interest, and it's like boiling up inside of you, and doing like anything pretty much. You still sometimes remember that, oh my god, like tomorrow there's gonna be a new episode of Chainsaw Man, for example. You're like, oh my god, I'm gonna watch it. I'm so excited. And you have this excitement semi permanently. That's such a cool experience, which you don't get by just having all of the show, which sometimes I may just drop because it's like not exciting enough. I did a very bad thing where I was measuring by VS Code, which is the only correct one, instead of the other windows. So let's add a bit more. Fuck, even more. God damn. Even more? Yeah, slightly. Yes, slightly. Like 1 pixel, I think. Yeah, that's perfect. But then if we do it on VS Code, it slightly overlaps, but not to a point of that being important at all. Let's try the docs, for example. Boop boop. And yeah, they just don't, because how did I... Wait, no way, no way, no way, no way. Open, please. Nothing works. That's so funny. Yeah, once I open the docs, all of my hotkeys stop working. Why? It's probably something that I put it into my script and completely forgot. But I would imagine that once the window doesn't exist anymore, they come back, but they don't. Strange. Very strange. What other window could we use? You should be closed! It has some fucking personal stuff. Stop opening Telegram. I don't like you in this specific situation. In all others, though, I do. You know what I could do? I could, if I wanted to, do it like this. Huh. Oh no, it's okay. It's all good. Okay, so this window, and then also this window. Yeah, so far I'm like liking it a lot. A lot. Mega much. Mega much. Yeah, and it's like perfect. When what I used to do wouldn't be. Like there would still be a bit here, a bit here, but now it's like clean. Yeah, and I guess I can keep the chat here too. At this point, I'll make it always on top. Yeah. So what did I change? Both of them, naturally. Eventually, I think I'm going to double them up with basically a full 70 and a half 70 that only covers half the screen, this or this. And I'll probably need an input hook for that. which kind of complicates the entire situation. But maybe I'll just get used to using like all of the keys, which is also very fair. But anyway, it's not an issue that I yet have. But oh my god, like I can just do that. That's, I love it. I love it so much. And it aligns perfectly. Wow, that's amazing. So interesting. So Windows Alt J and Windows Alt K will now be free to use for any other thing that I decide to put on them. Because Windows Alt space and then these two keys, yeah. Let's go to functional, no, functional. Sometimes my cats just decide to scream, just meow, like god damn, like you okay? They desire a lot of love, which is something that we lack sometimes. Like you might say, oh my god, I would give all of the love that they need. Okay, maybe at first. But then you're just kind of busy. And they're like, oh my god, give love to me. And I'm like, I don't have time for you. I'm sorry. I forget. Where are they called? Where are they stored? In Trinity probably, right? Yes, they are. Let's take them and put them. No, not this. This. So this will restore down. And actually, instead of putting them here, let's go to the actual implementation. Move it bottom. And add that here. So I'm not gonna need much of any of these, like the move, the decrease, the set, and even the absolute move. But I'm going to add maximize. Right? Is that reasonable to do? No. If we look at restore down, the implementation is a bit different. Oh no, it doesn't wait for it at all. I thought it did. Basically here I'm using the built-in auto hotkey thing. And there I'm using the post message. And in reality, it's not that different. I guess we can do that still. Maximize is when maximize this when title. And restore down, we'll use when restore down instead. This when title. Cool. Great and amazing. So these two can now just call window manager methods. And eventually I'll just remove everything from the window manager and move everything in presets into the window manager and just kind of, yeah, and that's it. Window manager, this is restored down, and the opposite will be window manager as well, maximize. And since I moved these from here, no, I was in functional. No, once again, I was in Trinity. Keep forgetting where I store everything. Okay, so now, just to make sure I saved everything. Or I guess I could do that with chat too, doesn't really matter. Oh, interesting. The issue with this is that it, when restores unnecessarily, that's very easily fixable. Okay, so this is just going to be a static method that you specify a win title to. Yeah, putting the restore down in the constructor still makes sense, I think. Because most methods do actually need to make the window not maximized. Sometimes they don't, but usually they do. And maximize is more of an exception rather than the rule. So maximize, and we pass the win title that we just got. And for now, I guess, go here. For now, we'll just be static, and after it, we'll see. Oh, interesting. That works interestingly, because right now it restores down twice when I can just call the instance, which does that by default, which shows off how wanky that kind of is. That's interesting. Huh. Okay. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, that's very nice and cool. Love that. Okay, so what else? So I think dot will be close once inactive, and slash will be always on top. So dot is let's go to Explorer, which has those things somewhere. Here they are. Oh, well, now all I have to do is change these. So this will eventually be moved into the window manager, and my chat crashed again. Okay, okay. And this is stored in the win class. Let's look at it. Close once inactive should indeed be in win, or at the very least it's innate implementation. So this whole thing. Yeah, because it's being used in a couple of places in the Win class. Yeah, so close once inactive makes sense to be here because it's also being used here the most. So I'm using that. So it makes sense for it to be there. Okay, fair enough. But the maximizing and minimizing windows should not be in the Win class, because it will be done more so by the window manager. And this should also be in the window manager. But all of those things are eventually type of things. Let's say I make this big. Chat, make it always on top again. Here it is. Oh my god, I love using this. Oh, that's so much better than what I used to have before. With all the move bit by bit, and even then you're not quite there. And you don't really have a way of being more precise, but now I do. Now I do, and I can add more and more stuff to it. Fuck, I love it so much. And my chat crashed again. Like, on my phone. It's cool that it doesn't crash here. Or at least I think so. Lol. But it crashes on my phone. Like, what? So at this point already, I don't think I need the window manager in the Vim thing. So let's go to, first of all, let's bring back the things. What do we have changed? A bunch of stuff. What about Trinity? So that, kind of hate that it doesn't automatically less it and just outputs. Kind of imagine that it would, but usually git diff only does that if the output is more than the height of your terminal. And I'd like it to always output it to the less window. Okay, so I removed those hotkeys. So let's add Trinity, because those are changes that I want to track. And and I add this. Cool. The other things that I have changed is that and that. Okay, so let's commit this. Move, restore, and maximize hotkeys to window manager chord. I keep saying chord. Chord is probably a slur or something. It sounds horrible. So yeah, chord. Cool. And then the other things that I have changed is explore. So let's add that as well. Explore. Explore and window manager the hotkeys. Window manager the hotkeys. Cool. Both of them are now added. And in the same fashion, move toggle always on top and less characters. Toggle always on top and close once inactive. That's way too many characters. To window manager. 61. I still have 11 keys to go to window manager chord. I'm so sorry. What else do I have left? Window manager, the actual implementation. I'm gonna change it regardless. But probably offline, if even today. I wanna eat, drink coffee, watch Hunter x Hunter, and then reapproach doing this thing with a fresher mind. Maybe with new ideas. So, closing the chat, and it goes right back. Thanks everyone for watching. I'm gonna go. Goodbye. Goodbye.